edition of Science with Mrs. Walker. I want you to notice my lovely bulletin board here with some of these words that I'm sure you recognize because you've been working on your Quizlet. Notice how we have the word reflection, the word refraction, and the word transmission. Now these are all put together in a way that I think might help you remember what the meaning of those words are. And then we have shadow, absorb, transparent, translucent, and opaque. You know, I was really impressed when I looked at the answers to your questions about can it reflect light, because 4 of you guys knew that every object on that list reflects light. Isn't that wild? If an object doesn't produce its own light, it reflects light. And that's how we see things. Now, some objects reflect light better than others. And in just a second, I'm going to show you a picture of several different materials, and we're going to figure out which materials do the best job of reflecting. Before we look at examples of different materials that reflect light, now would be a good time to pause the video and go into your work from home folder, open up reflection of light notes, and you will be able to take notes in the document. Or if you wanted to print it out, if you have a printer at home and you wanted to print it out and write in the notes, that would work too. So go ahead, push pause and do that. Based on the answers I looked at on GoFormative, but reflection of light means the bending of light. If you wanted to underline that, you could underline that. If you're writing it on your paper, that's fine too. Okay, now some of you said some materials were better at reflecting light than others, and that's true. And if you think about what are some of these materials, words that I read on your responses included shiny materials, smooth materials, flat materials, things that are bright colors or light colors tend to reflect light better. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to show you a picture of some materials that we would have used in class to experiment with flashlights just to see how they reflect light. Up here in the top left, a piece of metal, and of course I had put duct tape around it to protect the edges, a piece of white cardstock, a piece of shiny silver paper, a piece of bright green paper. This was clear plexiglass, shiny red paper, black construction paper, and wax paper. And even in this picture, you can see some of these materials are reflecting light. Now remember, they're all reflecting light, but some materials reflect light better than others. In the Google Doc, did some materials seem to not reflect light, and why? I'm guessing that many of you would say, well, like the black construction paper doesn't really seem to reflect light. And probably the clear plexiglass. I want you to think about, why do those materials not seem to reflect light? Well, I'm thinking because the black construction paper, or the dark color, seems to do the opposite of reflect light, and it absorbs that light. So dark, I'm going to put the Y here, dark colors absorb light. And it seems like light travels through clear materials. Okay, so we have answered which materials were best at reflecting light. Did some materials seem to not reflect light, and why? And now what I want you to do for today You're going to answer these 3 questions. Why do ball players smear black under their eyes? I see that a lot with, I guess, I guess usually they're ball players. Like I'm thinking baseball players, maybe football players. Put that eye black on right underneath their eyes. I want you to think about why they would do that. What color would be the best color clothing to wear on a hot sunny day and why? And I want to see if you can come up with what are some examples of ways reflective materials keep people safe. See if you can come up with 3 ways, 3 examples of reflective materials. You can leave the last question for Thursday. We'll discuss that together. I will be checking in on your documents. I can see your documents as you are working, so you do not need to submit it. Just work on those 3 questions, and when you have answers to those 3 questions, you are finished for today, Wednesday, April 8th.